There you go.
Hi.
Hi. Hello.
Yeah.
I'm not here, honest.
Andy's here. I can hear myself twice. Can you hear me twice, Andy?
There's a window open. Tech support has arrived.
Tech support's arrived.
I have no idea why I can hear you. Let's just close all. Oh, I think I just got rid of your poll. I did. Excuse me while tech support tries to figure out what the hell is happening. There it is. Found it.
Thank you.
Now you should be able to bring up this.
I've lost my poll. Oh well. You can sort that.
After.
Okay, great. So welcome to Book Club. It turns out that my jumper doesn't show up right on the green screen, so I'm just gonna take it off. It's awfully hot in here anyway. I don't know why Andy has left it so warm. That's my first complaint. So, welcome to Lorebeards Book Club. It is I, Lindsay, and Vera, and we are here to talk to you about who we are, who Book Club is, what Book Club's going to be, what are we going to do next?
Yeah, this is sort of like a session 0 for Book Club. We're going to talk about expectations, ideas, like what's in the docket, and so on. So, you didn't miss any reading, I'll put it that way.
No, you haven't missed any reading. Reading's not going to be required unless people want to do it because of the plans that we've got for Book Club. So you will find out imminently what we're going to do. But first, I think we're going to introduce ourselves, aren't we, Vera? So I'm going to change my title because I don't want to be called Lindsay Law and Vera's just called Lindsay. And I will pass over to Vera to introduce herself first.
Yeah, hi, I'm Vera. I am one of the authors of the 4th edition Warhammer books. I write for the Old World RPG also. I also write for the Age of Sigmar Soulbound games. I do a few things in the setting. I am a teacher of language. I VTube as a creature on the internet, and I also voice act, write for video games, and so on. So I like books, I like reading, I like making things, and I'm excited for this.
Me too. So who am I? I'm Lindsay Law. I'm one half of the amazing marriage that is Lindsay Law and Andy Law. I'm 1/5 of the company that is Rookery Publications that writes awesome things for role-playing games. We design board games. We do loads of stuff. I was a WFRP 4th edition writer. I'm an editor. I'm a proofreader. I am an actual play actor every Friday night where we actual play The Enemy Within from my living room. And yeah, I just do loads of stuff. I'm a super nerd.
We both read books, so
yeah. No, I didn't say that, did I? But we both write books, so maybe that's even more of a qualification. No, it's not. We read and write books. We can do both. We multitask. We're multi-skilled in the literacy department.
Yeah, and part of the plan here is we're going to read books together. Yay!
Yay! Yeah. So what is the plan? So the plan is Lorebeards Book Club. So at the moment, Lorebeards Book Club is planned to be a monthly Warhammer fantasy-facing book club where me and Vera select a short list of books, and you, the community, pick those books. If monthly doesn't work, then we'll change it. But at the moment, that's what we're going with. Although the first one is actually going to be in 2 weeks' time, so we can get it in before Christmas. Mm-hmm. And also, Book Club is going to be what you want it to be. So we have lots of ideas for what we want to talk about in Warhammer books. But you are very welcome to throw in your super chats, to throw in your suggestions in the comments, and we will take them in and we will look at them and we will discuss them. And you can help make Book Club what it is, because it's a book club, not a book duo of me and Vera.
Yeah, the hope is we'll have some cool discussion of the various books. We have a Discord channel for this, obviously. We'll make use of that, have threads about different ideas, different characters. Try not to spoil things for people, but I'm hoping we can all discuss things as they unfold in the text and have a cool time with it. We're going to read a lot of stuff here, so...
So Tiball31 asks, are we picking the first book today? We will be. We've got a poll, which Andy Law had set up for me, but in the tech support incident at the start, that poll was shut down. So he's going to make that poll go live after we have finished book club today. The 4 books that we are putting up to read first are... Well, we'll reveal them later in the stream, won't we, Vera? I think.
Yeah, that works. That works.
Yeah. So we'll reveal those later on. Yeah. I imagine you guys have already read most of the books in the fantasy realm, so it's going to be interesting to maybe find something you haven't already read. Well, actually, our intention is not to read something that we haven't necessarily already read, although I'm sure, Vera, you will have read a different selection of Warhammer Fantasy books than I have, right?
Yeah, some smattering, but I think that over the next year or so, we're going to read a lot of stuff from different realms of things. We've talked about reading 40K books, about reading fantasy books, about Age of Sigmar possibly, about reading things from the old world, reading things from like outside of Warhammer, even things that are like relevant but not like in the narrative. So there's a lot of possibilities here. It should all relate to Warhammer in some way, but perhaps not be in the IP. We'll find out.
Yeah, Gary Insons is it an accounting? Yeah, we did do a Lawhammer live stream, which was just Kath and I, one of the other cast, trading stuff on the barge, and I did have a double entry bookkeeping log with me on that day. It was riveting viewing, but sadly it was one of the episodes that was lost in a hard drive crash, so no one will ever get to see the WIFRIP accounting merger that happened on Lawhammer last year. Or Mornington Crescent suggests the book club is a magical weapon in the Ogre Kingdoms with a grimoire fixed to an ogre's club. Could be.
Oh, that should have been the logo. It would have been brilliant.
So book club isn't going to be divided by setting. So no. At the moment, Vera and I are doing book club for fantasy. So that will cover the old world novels and anything fantasy facing.
Yep.
If there is demand for a book club that may cover other settings, 40K, Age of Sigmar, then I'm sure we can either ask one of the other Lorebeards presenters whether they would be interested in it, or I don't know, recruit someone else to do those.
And that'll all be sort of under this banner, but it might be in an off week. We've talked about like doing things every 2 weeks potentially. We could do like 40K in 1 week and then half a month later do fantasy, things like that. It depends on interest. So we'll talk about that in the Discord, hopefully. And if people are motivated, perhaps we could do that kind of schedule. But
yeah, exactly. And reading things about the old world is a very short list. It is a very short list, but there are a couple of novels and one in particular that we are interested in putting on the list. So watch for the poll when Sotek has got it sorted out and we can get it to go live. The main reason that Vera and I were interested in running book club is because the section where Vera and I chat about the books, we're going to be looking at slightly different discussion points than a normal book club. So a normal book club might be talking about the plot, they might be talking about literary devices, they might be deploying the kind of chat that you would be more familiar in an English class or whatever that's called when you're not in the UK. Your literature class. I don't know why I presumed it was called something different, not in the UK. But what would you call that at high school in the States, Vera?
Well, still English in the States, probably like lit in a French school, but...
Yeah, exactly, right. Exactly. So
but the idea is to sort of make it useful for people running games and so on, and to also like dive into the lore a little bit, because it's Lorebeards, right?
Exactly. So we'll get onto that. So what percentage of Warhammer Fantasy literature is just Gotrek and Felix? Well, You know, I was looking today for Troll Slayer, and on the way, I managed to find literally every single other Slayer book in the whole world, including doubles of some of them. But I just could not, for the life of me, find Troll Slayer, which leads me to believe that it might be being used as a backdrop in the Lorehammer streaming room. But while I was on the way, I found Hammers of Ulrich, I found Zavant, I found Mage Storm by Jonathan Green. I found one of my favorites, Genevieve Undead. And I found another copy of Hammers of Ulrich. So there we go. Mike said he found it quite easily. Yeah, no, not online to buy, like literally in my house, which is very difficult to find things in. It's not the biggest house in the world, but it has places. It has many, many bookshelves and many, many books. So there's also a potential that when I find two books like this, it is possible that one of them may become a Lorebeards Book Club giveaway because I want fewer things in my house. How about you, Vera? Do you have a lot of physical books, or how do you read books?
A smattering. I have like one shelf over here that's like mostly reference stuff, like journalism. I have one over there. It's got a lot of like old collections of comics and things on it. And then I've got a few more that are like smatterings of novels, things from my mother and so on. But I am building up a new bookshelf right now. That'll be part of the Lorebeards thing, that's for sure. I've done a lot of digital reading in the last like 5 years, especially. So
yeah, I have a TikTok, and I'm going to be using my TikTok. It's for kind of like inside the rookery and language nerd stuff that I use, and my cats that I usually use it for. So I'm going to be using it to sort of document my book club journey because I have a bullet journal. So I'm going to be like setting up some bullet journal spreads with like book spreads, and I'll be sharing that on TikTok. So that'll be quite good fun.
That is better organized than I am, but I will be annotating my copies and sticking in little stickers and whatnot.
Yeah, I just like to do a bullet journal spread, and then I'll probably do a few videos on that of wandering around the Lawhammer studio and like looking at what kind of books we've got and stuff. So I think we should get the poll up just now. If
Sure.
I'm just requesting tech support sorts that out. Go ahead, tech support. Please sort out our poll. So, as we get the poll up, this is Vera and I's plan for what we're going to talk about at the top of book club as an introduction. So obviously we'll give an introduction to the book we read, but then we're going to be covering things like plot because you need to, but because this is Lorebeards, we're going to be focusing on the characters, our opinions on the protagonists, the antagonists, any big Warhammer like canon characters that we want to discuss how they developed or changed in the book. Like, was it the introduction to like a big Warhammer character that was the first time you saw them and they've since become massive? We're going to be looking at places and other lore, like where is it based in Warhammer? What does it add to the setting?
Maps.
Is it like, does it go alongside the army books and other lore for the setting, or does it introduce really new stuff? I'll be taking notes on all the setting details because I do that every time I read a Warhammer book, and I pass them over to Andy to pop on his master map. We'll be talking about style, just like impressions of the writer's style and readability. We haven't decided whether we're going to rate the books yet. And then at the end of book club we'll plan the next book or decide on a poll, and obviously all the way through our discussions we hope that you'll like jump in with your opinions on the lore, anything you spotted that we missed. Effects on the setting will be half the questions no matter what. And so that's the plan. Did I miss anything, Vera?
No, I don't think so. Like, part of the idea is to make this a useful resource for people who want like summaries of the text, who want to talk about them in more detail. But the hope is that like after a few months of book club, we'll start to have these videos that really talk about the detailed setting information and plot detail and canon enhancing info inside of these texts. Like, you can use them to serve as quick reference for running the table, for lore inspiration and so on. Anything that's related to that book, that setting of the lore. So we're hoping to make them useful and interesting and kind of in-depth.
there's a few comments on your new VTuber model, Vera.
Thanks so much.
Especially the pointing. Yeah, and the tail.
It is a little more fancy now. I wanted to spruce things up for the production. So I am, of course, like fully 3D now. I can spin around and do stuff, and a little more lifelike.
Could you do a yoga class? Could we do
totally.
a Lorebeards yoga? Lore yoga.
No, I can kind of do whatever. I can.
So we're going to see how much these books fit in the lore. Yeah, because it's Lorebeards Book Club. So we're not just going to be reading books. We're going to be reading books with a real lore focus and like delving deep into it. So another question, Mr. Mike asks, are all book club streams going to be on this date and time?
Probably. We'll see for sure, but this works,
we'll see
right?
for sure. It's possibly. It's a good time for me at the moment. Is it Sunday still? Yeah, it's still Sunday.
Yeah, this works okay for me also. We'll figure it out, though. We'll let you know. We'll be clear about this.
Yeah, we will figure this out. I still so apparently poll is ready, but where and what and how? I think I tech support needs to come and walk me through this. Like, can you guys just see that, or do I need to do something here? I'm sorry, this is like the first time I've done this, and usually like Andy or Ryan will like handle the polls. It's on YouTube. Okay, but how do I see the results? Tech support. Ryan will post it. Okay. Sorry.
Thank you, tech support. Thank you.
Thank you, tech support. Mr. Mike's ready to lose sleep over this.
Same here.
Mike, Mihao? I don't know how to pronounce your particular version of that archangel's name. Actually, a very interesting spin to this. Nice. Good.
Yeah, thank you. The hope is to make it kind of fun and Warhammery and make it focus on like interesting lore tidbits. We might pull out like cool passages that relate to the setting and inspiration to the setting, depending on the book. It'll be fun.
Mm-hmm. And Hoppet says, can I request a short intermission after the previous stream with Andy and Ryan for a bit of time to stretch and other things? Absolutely, because I use the same studio as Andy at the moment, so it's actually kind of faffy for me to get straight on after him.
I think we also plan to start off with some light chatter, saying hello and so on. So you'll have like a few minutes to limber up, get tea, whatever.
Here's a question for you, Vera, and for me, actually a good question. Do you guys prefer Audible or to read books yourself, and which one you guys prefer?
Just to off the bat say, Audible drives me crazy. I read faster than people talk, so I get a little jumpy when I'm doing that. It can be nice for like certain books if there's like really good performance for it, but for the most part, I like to read things myself and curl up and just like tuck into them for a few hours.
Yep. So for me, Audible makes me want to commit a crime. I can't have people reading stuff to me. Like, you know, when you were in class and you had to read stuff out, it was like literal torture waiting for all the other people. I would have read the whole chapter waiting for my turn. It just makes me, I just cannot. Every now and then I listen to podcasts where people are talking, having conversations, but almost always I will want to read something. I even found it really painful to read to my own children once it started to get beyond just like picture books with like rhyming words, because I just find it really hard that it goes too slowly.
This situation you're describing is like my personal hell as an English teacher in high school.
Yeah, I just cannot, even with Audible, and I actually prefer physical books to like electronic, but I am conscious that has an environmental impact, but I always prefer a physical book. I'd rather buy I will buy virtual books on e-readers, but yeah, I do like a physical book.
It's just fun to have like a dog-eared, marked up copy with stickers coming out of it. My copy of Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas has like 70 markers in it.
Hotplate arrived late after sending my son back to college. Oh, well, good luck to your son.
Yeah. Thanks a lot.
And yay, book club! You're very welcome, Hotplate. We've done so much so far is just have a bit of a chat about what book club's going to be. There's a poll up, and we are just about to talk about the 4 options in the poll. As someone has asked us, that's what we're just about to get onto. So I really wish I'd prepared better for this section, because I was going to, but then I remembered I had to make a sausage and bean stew. So that's what I did in when Andy was doing Lorebeards while I was listening to him. I meant to get the blurb for the books, but I spectacularly failed to find any of the books that I know. I own 3 of them in the house, so can't even read the back of them. So what shall we do, Vera? Shall we have... Do you want to give a quick overview of Elric? I know it's the 4th one. I can explain why it's in a Lorebeards poll, and then you can maybe give a quick overview of the book, because I know you've been reading it recently.
Yeah, so Elric of Melniboné is a sort of sword and sorcery novel that predates Warhammer and may have inspired some elements in Warhammer. It is by Michael Moorcock, who is, I know, considered by Andy to be very influential and important, and it is a fancy story. It's an older narrative about Elric, who is a very wizened and yet potent individual in a fantastic setting where order and chaos are quite important. And it is, for many reasons, a predecessor of Warhammer. It is hugely influential. It is Moorcock's, I believe, best known work, but it is where we get the traditional symbol for chaos that is used in Warhammer. It is a big deal for the metaphysics of the setting, and it is quite interesting. It's a fun read. I think that right away reading Elric, you will see like, oh yeah, this influenced a lot of stuff. So it is very relevant to fantasy in particular, because it is a sword and sorcery kind of novel in that vein, like Conan the Barbarian, those sorts of stories, but with a more decadent culture, right? Less out in the wastelands inherently, more tied to nobility. So it is a fun little read, and it is very Warhammery, and that it's sort of the grandfather of the setting.
Yeah, it's a great place to start to understand Warhammer Elves, and regular viewers will know that there's kind of a drinking game. You don't need to have alcohol in this. You can just remember to hydrate yourself when Andy mentions Michael Moorcock on the Lorebeard stream. So that's why we popped it in, because it really is the grandfather of Warhammer in many, many ways.
Yeah, and those themes of like decadence and elven culture sort of relate back to a lot of things we see in high elves and like the struggles they have, and it's neat. It's neat.
Gotrek and Felix. So we've picked Troll Slayer, which is the first in the Gotrek and Felix series. Gotrek and Felix are a Troll Slayer and his human companion, Felix Jaeger, who was a student who gets into some trouble in Altdorf, is saved by Gotrek and swears and swears and is bound to follow him and record all his adventures. So a way to, we'll get into this in the stream, no doubt, but are Gotrek and Felix actually what happened, or are you reading what Felix wrote down happened? I guess we'll never know. That's an opinion that we can discuss in book club. But I would say they're really like a staple of the Warhammer setting. Like the Troll Slayer, Gotrek and Felix are just so well known. They're so characterful. There's so many great characters that are introduced in those novels. They've had a great selection of writers over the years as they've passed on from one to another. And they go around, like slaying things, getting into bigger and bigger trouble as they go through Skaven and dragons and demons. And we thought it would be a great place to start, as they're so iconic as Warhammer characters.
Yeah, I mean, they made it into they made it into the new setting. They're part of Total War, right? They're everywhere.
Yeah, I would agree that Gotrek and Felix is pretty much the entry point for fantasy. But yeah, Elric of Melniboné follows Elric, a frail albino emperor sustained by sorcery and drugs. The best kind of sustenance, whose curse or Stormbringer brings him strength while dooming everyone he loves. So it's really like elf coded there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's those two. Then the next one on the list, is it Lords of the Lands?
Yeah, it's on there. Which I have not read.
I have not read it either, so I'm pretty excited to read it. I'm pretty excited for a number of reasons, but Lords of the Lance is set in the old world, which is the new time period of setting that Games Workshop released a couple of years ago, and Cubicle 7 have now released their role-playing game for. It is a story about Bretonnian Grail Knights or Knights.
Yep, I believe that there's a hostage that was taken in the undead lands. So there's a grand voyage and a little bit of crusading to go on a rescue mission.
Yep, exactly. So when the son of Baron Lothar Aquilena of the Border Princes is taken captive, he calls in a debt of honour owed to him by Duke Carrard of Canel, once his brother-in-arms and now his bitter rival. This uneasy alliance of warrior knights mounts a dangerous expedition into the lifeless desolation beyond the Badlands to a forgotten realm, cursed to know neither water nor shade, so great holiday destination. The Baron's son is held captive in the land of the dead, and the kings and queens of old do not rest easy in their tombs. And it's written by Graham McNeil, who's a regular author in the Warhammer world and a friend of the Rookery. He's been on Inside the Rookery at least once, if not a couple of times. So we are really keen to get into that one too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Just like that, it has my vote. Yeah, yeah, I did mention Michael Moorcock, so everyone should take a shot. Andy is popping some info in the chat about the books as we go through because he is great.
That leads us to the last book, right?
Exactly. So the last book is the first book in the Witch Hunter series by C.L. Werner. Which, by the way, doesn't that sound like a cool Warhammer name anyway? Like... It's like some cool first names, and you've just basically got like some kind of, I don't know, Sigmarite warrior priest or something right there. And Andy and I, when we were all chatting about this, and then when Vera and I were chatting, we thought this would be another good place to start. Witch Hunters are really an iconic feature of the Warhammer setting, and we wanted to jump in there get. I think they're an iconic part, but also a misunderstood part of the setting.
Yeah, and like they're so close to the concept of corruption, which is like the core idea in a lot of Warhammer, right?
Yeah, but they're also so close to, with the way their hats are portrayed, to our own witch hunters, you know, in kind of the southeast of England or, you know, moving over into the US. And where I'm from in Scotland, there was like a massive set of witch hunts in the same period. Yep. And conflating those two things with Warhammer is an error, because Warhammer does have corruption, it does have chaos, it does have wizards who are regulated very strictly to only use their power for certain things, as compared to our world where it was mostly just women and outcasts being persecuted unfairly. So it's the point I always make when I talk about witch hunters in Warhammer and witch hunters in the real world is like, stop, take a moment. They're very, very different. Your same stereotypes just don't apply.
Yep. It's a fun way to talk about like how the setting resembles and then diverges from reality, how like the themes of corruption manifest and like work out in the setting, how those narratives play out at the table. And it's a cool area to like get into the setting from, I think, because corruption is important.
Yeah. And so it's the Matthias Toulmin books, which Jake's already reading. So Matthias Toulmin, the most notorious of Sigmar's witch hunters in the entire old world, sets out to investigate a series of grisly deaths and is drawn into a web of deceit, which I think sounds amazing. The books that we don't get to this time, we'll probably pick one and put that on the next poll, and then we'll keep on doing that. So we will get a chance to go back to some of these iconic series if they're not picked at the start, or in the case of Lords of the Lance, like a new book that's dropping like really new lore into a FRIP. I don't know how to look how the poll is doing.
Neither do I.
Or we're such noobs, Vera.
Text support! Help!
Let's have a look at some of the chat. So, yeah, Lorebeard, Shot Games, Buying Dark Deeds, Buy Dark Deeds, mentioning Moorcock, and this needed an editor. Where is the poll? The poll is on YouTube.
We hope.
Well, I'm told it is. The link was up earlier, so it should be further up in the chat. Do you already know exactly who's winning?
Poll support.
I see. That kind of makes sense, yeah.
Okay, right. It's right. So, yeah, hiya. Let's scroll up to where the poll was linked. Click on said. Look, I'll just go over to the Lorebeards channel. It'll be quicker. So go YouTube over there. Well, they'll. Hi everyone. I'm coming in with poll support.
Poll support.
Poll support. Poll support. Polling
Planet
support.
news and weather, interplanetary sport.
Yeah, all that too. Right, here we go, Lorebeards, and let's go over to the channel, and then go over to hosts, and the poll is right there. And currently, Troll Slayer is kicking ass.
In the lead. But
there is, however, only 144 votes in, so we could get a lot more of you in, and it's up to you when you want that poll to end, whether you want it to end at the end of the episode or whether you want to leave it for a day so that everybody else gets a chance to have a look. The people who come in later.
I think we'll leave it for a day. What do you think, Vera?
We could run it on Discord also and sum them.
Poll support!
Could do that.
Bye. Yeah, I think we'll leave it up. We'll pop it on Discord and we will leave it up for couple of days.
And if you're burning to read like a 40K related things or Age of Sigmar related things, let us know. Let us know what you're intrigued by, and we can discuss like off-week setups for book club. We've discussed like a tempo of like 2 weeks with different cycles of books for different targeted audiences, like different like the 40K fans, fantasy folk. We have a lot of ambitions with this. There's a discussion of like bringing in authors to discuss things, of doing some targeted conversations about short stories that have like shorter tempos for the reading. Lots of possibilities, having some Black Library behind the scenes perhaps. So a lot of things can happen here. If you're enthusiastic for any particular type of thing, please let us know.
Yeah, between the bunch of us, we know quite a few Warhammer authors as friends or colleagues or like acquaintances, a few of which who've already been on Inside the Rookery to talk about their work. I think Graham McNeil's been on, Mark Gascoigne's been on, James Wallace has been on, Nathan Long's been on, who writes some of the later Gotrek and Felix and some other novels. Jonathan Green's been on, who's a writer. There's a few more that I have forgotten, but those are the ones that just jump to mind. So we will be, if we pick their books, we will be sending a little message to them to see whether they might fancy ever coming on and having a chat about the books. We also thought, didn't we, Vera, that we might do, like, rather than rate the book,
Yes.
or if we did rate a book, it might be something on, like how fresh is its lore? No, like something like a lore
Freshness rating.
rating. But
This book is the scent of a spring breeze.
yeah. Or we might do what the guys have done, what Andy and Ryan have been doing for ages, which is they don't rate the characters they talk about until they do a tier list and then they rate them.
Could be done, yeah. I think that one of my priorities is making sure that like the summations of the books are useful to give people a grounding, like where to look for like lore material for setting inspo and things like that. Just so it's a quick resource in that way as well. So you can go to the end and like with a summary and the wrap up and the rating and find out what you would get out of going through this for your table, for your lore building. Because I'm always thinking like, what's useful for players? What about lazy people? So we're gonna throw a bone to people who are not doing the reading, perhaps, that do want a good resource about the text, who want to perhaps know what's going to be helpful for fleshing out their Warhammer campaign or their short story or their character. So.
Mm-hmm. So Mr. Mike said, I personally think you should rate the books or tier lists or something. We definitely will do tier lists.
Yes.
Tier lists go hard. Tier lists are always fun. as a anti-law democracy enthusiast, maybe we'll just like get you guys to rate the books. We'll just
Ooh.
every time. The first Gotrek and Felix books are not going to be too much lore friendly since they are a tidbit old in the best way, though. Well, yes, although they were written long before Andy Law started producing stuff for Wifrip, so it may be the case that some of the locations in Gotrek and Felix have either slipped into 4th edition or 2nd edition, or indeed when Nathan Long was writing, I can't remember which one he was writing, when he approached Andy because he knew about Andy's master map and asked for advice on if he was taking people across the Empire, how long would it take? Would it be reasonable for them to go to X place? Where could they stop on the way? So they are, they are, we'll see if Gotrek and if Trollslayer wins, how lore friendly they are.
Yeah, and I think that highlighting that is interesting too, like where things have diverged, what's changed, what you can do to reconcile things if you're attached to it. All of that's fun. So we'll have discussions like that as well, like how to make older lore align with perhaps the modern setting, if you want to pull from one of these books, etc.
Matthew Lowry, if you get through Vampire Slayer, maybe Ulrika series. Yeah, I'd love to do the Ulrika series. That would be really, really fun. Mm-hmm. Have you read those, Vera?
A smattering.
Yeah. I've read them, but ages and ages ago. And T-Bold decided, no, use the Chaos God tier list idea. Yes, some democracy, but authoritarian super chats. Yeah, we will, as always. The super chats will hold weight in some of the... I think sometimes the super chats can move things on the tiers. They can certainly make suggestions for what's included on the next polls, etc. Oh, and then there's so pretty much we will see if the choices in the book are possible. Yeah. Sometimes for that, we may need to call in our cartography support.
Is that similar to tech support?
Well, it's basically the same as tech support, except it's tech support wearing a different hat.
He wears many hats.
He does wear many hats. He wears the most hats of any person I've ever known, I think. Maybe apart from me, I am a bit... he doesn't often go horse riding or ice skating, and I do go to both those things, so... Yeah. Oh, orange. I read that and I thought you meant that I should take out my hair and literally, like, I read it the wrong way around, literally, like, arrange it to match Vera. Like, my hair did. Yeah, next week it'll be green hair for me. Oh, I can't really do green hair because of that green screen. It does cause a bit
the orange. It's nice.
Do you like it? Yeah, I've gone.
I do.
I'm constantly.
I hear somebody wanted cartography support.
Did you change his hat?
Cartography support. If it's ever required, just ask. Signing out.
He's silly. Super chats are the disciples of Hashut. They love to impose their will. Yeah. Lorebeards question. Oh, how are we able to access the Lorebeards Discord? I'm sure that Ryan or Andy in tech support will be able to share a link in the comments.
Oh, I like this. We can just ask for things.
We just ask for things and they happen. I'm just checking that we've got through all the super chats. Yeah, we have. Excellent. Next toggle is for Vera is to make a beard, to make her the ultimate Lorebeard.
We'll see about the beard. I may be getting a Warhammer themed outfit at some point in the future, though. So,
yeah, I would really like a VTube. What do you call it? Like skin? Is that the right word?
Yeah, like a model, an avatar, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I'd really like a model as an elf, so I could do like my elf yoga. for that would be great, because I'm not really built like an elf. I'm quite small compared to my elf character who's 6'5".
Mm-hmm.
I am not 6'5". That may come as a surprise to some of you.
It's great fun. I'll walk you through the tech later if you want. It's kind of neat. I've got one of the fancy setups now, so I can sort of spin around and do stuff. And
It's so cool.
thank you.
I really do love it.
Aw, my heart. I also. It's been fun.
So there's some other what other? So you should do Time of Legends Sigmar books then, lol. Yeah.
Yeah, like if there are books you're like really interested in, we're gonna be hanging out in the Lorebeards Book Club section of the Discord. We're gonna monitor that. We're gonna discuss things there, and I encourage you guys to, after the first book is up, to start discussing it as things go on. My one request is not to spoil anything outside of threads. If you're gonna talk about like plot details, especially twists and turns, put that in a thread that is marked as spoilers, please. And we may pull from those during the episode to talk about specific parts of the book that people found interesting and elements of discussion and so on. So this is meant to be collaborative. It's meant to be kind of fun. I'm pretty excited.
So the War event, right? I had a terrible run-in with dwarves in Lawhammer on Friday night. So for me, the pain is still too near. I cannot. Maybe in a few months. So Lorebeards, I still say we call Vera, Lindsay, and Alexis Lorebraids instead of beards. I mean, you guys don't know that I'm not Andy Law's beard. You just don't know that. I could be just a cover wife, like Robert Redford's 3 wives in Spy Game. You just don't know. I could still be a beard. Yeah, good call, Vera. Please, no spoilers.
Yeah, I think it's important. A lot of people want to be reading it for the first time, and just it's polite, you know. It's a nice gesture to kind of bury things in that way. So please consider it. But please
So
do.
we didn't. Sorry, Vera.
Oh, please.
I was just going to say that we didn't really, because it was early in the stream, we didn't really have much chat at the start from the comments about what sounded like a good time period. So like 2 weeks to read the first book. Does that sound about right? And then we'll either take a call then whether we do the next one in 2 weeks or if we do it in a month, because it is over like the festive period. So it might be a busy time for people.
Yeah, like because too fast is an issue, I'm sure, but a lot of folks will have read this. It's not like the longest book either. We can evaluate, and like there's again some chance of doing like a 2-week rotation for some things, like doing a 40K off week for book club things. If people are so motivated, you got to let us know though. Things like that.
Yeah, I work so much. Having a month between books would be really nice. 2 weeks is enough, but maybe the month because Christmas is happening. And they've popped the Discord now in the chat, so you can go to the comments.
Yeah, we had discussed possibly doing like a off cycle for another narrative region, like the 40K would be its own month-long cycle, 2-week separation, but like that could work to make things a little easier on timing if you wanted to keep up one book club, but we don't want to rush people.
Yeah, Troll Slayer is short. You could read it in an afternoon. I think Elric is quite short as well.
The novella is. There's like a collection of them, though. It depends.
Yeah. The other two, Witch Hunter, I did find it, but I just couldn't lay my hands on it in the run-up to this stream. So, and Lords of the Lance looks quite a chunky boy, but like they're not heavy reading. I don't think Witch Hunters is not that long. I don't think. I would say a little bit longer than Gotrek and Felix, maybe. Oh, Lords of the Lance is short. Oh, it just looked chunky because I saw it in its like special edition in
the hardcover.
It wasn't a chunky boy after all. Here you go, Vera. Here's a question: are there any books you wouldn't be interested in covering?
Ooh, I don't know. I don't have any bias there. I like reading. I like discussing. So I think that I have nothing in mind that I want to like avoid on purpose.
And do you have a favorite book in the Warhammer oeuvre already?
It's got to be Skarsnik. I really like Skarsnik. I think it's so much fun the way it's bookended. It reads almost like a Lovecraft novel. It's so wonderful. Big fan.
My favorite is the Ambassador Chronicles, by Graham McNeil, but it's kind of embarrassing because I totally love the main character in the Ambassador Chronicles. I just think he's like so amazing. And then I found out that it's like Graham. I was like, who did you base it on, Graham? And he was like, well, kind of me with Sean Connery's face. And I was like, I'm so embarrassed now.
No, that's good though.
Character, and I thought he was so hot. So yeah.
Sean Connery was a sex symbol.
Yeah, I'm not really into Sean Connery. Wasn't really into
Well, he was a sex symbol.
Yeah, he was a sex symbol.
At one point.
Like, oh my god, this is so embarrassing. Also, where is the best place to acquire said books?
Your local library.
Yeah, for sure, your local library if you can. If not, I feel like maybe we could sort out some like affiliate links. But
Nice, yeah.
whatever suits you. If you've got a local bookstore, maybe you could get them to order them for you. You could, wherever you get your ebooks.
Yep.
Some of them,
We'll do that.
Yeah, we should look into that, Vera. What we should check before we pop a book on the list is whether it's actually available in print or ebook form right now.
That's valid, yeah. And I guess there's like Audible possibilities also. There's like a lot of these have great audiobooks. I know Go Trick and Felix is a really well done audiobook. Lindsay and I may not listen to them ourselves, but hey, it's a valid way to enjoy the story.
Yeah, I've got a lot of I didn't buy a lot of the Warhammer books secondhand, but most of Andy's Michael Moorcock books that he had when he was a kid and had just got lost or stayed at home, and his Steve Jackson, Ian Livingstone, what are they called? Fighting fantasy books. Loads of them I've got secondhand. If they're not either in secondhand bookshops, because Edinburgh's got so many secondhand bookshops, or sometimes on eBay you can get quite a good like job lot of like Wolfert books or those kind of books. Yeah, it was probably easier pop it like about 10 to 15 years ago, for sure. There was a question further up, but now I cannot find it. Something about... I'll take this one first. So I just want to put my thumb on the scale. Everyone knows Troll Slayer's influence on Warhammer. Pick the new book and we get fresh new lore to talk about. Feel free to try and influence the poll. Here we are. What about the opposite? A book you won't even touch unless chat changes your mind.
I mean, not that I think would be relevant to the book club. Like there are a few books out there, like the sort of fantasy lineage that I think are like not great, but I don't think they would be coming up on their own. So.
Yeah, I know that we'll get to them, but I am not looking forward necessarily to any of the End Times books. The End Times book, the elf one I've heard is good.
They are important though. They do matter quite a lot to the setting. So, and there'd be a great conversation to be had there. But I understand.
Yeah, they do. I agree with you. They do matter a lot to the setting. They tie up people's stories, but I'm not looking forward to them. Just for the way that I have heard that unless it's like the main character in those novels, or in that particular set of books, like the other characters that are like hugely important in Warhammer lore kind of get short shrift because they were like, well, this world's ending, so we have to tie up every thread.
They do tie them up. Things are concluded pretty handily, yeah.
Yeah.
They sure do end it.
I've met this person and now they're dead. Oh, well, maybe I got it wrong. The elf one is considered the worst in the End Times, if I recall correctly. Great. Well, now I'm not looking forward to it at all, even though I love my elves.
All right, next month, the End Times book for Kane, yeah.
Yeah. I'd be really curious to hear your thoughts on the Nagash trilogy. It was my intro to Warhammer lore. A few people have mentioned Nagash, so possibly it will be on the poll for episode 2, because episode 1 will be.
It'll be
Uh,
whatever it'll be. And we
whatever
will
it
run back options also. Things will recycle into the polls depending on how much they were voted for previously or how much we want to read them. Some combination. Please do discuss what you're interested in seeing, though, because we will be shaping things for the selections based on that in part.
Yeah, there's a lot of Warhammer fantasy isn't something my local bookstore or cares about. Yeah, people may have access to this app that someone's mentioned, the Libby app, but I don't know if it just depends if the Libby app for the libraries is that like in the libraries in your area and whether they have them. Earlier on in the I might abstain if it was an end times book. More important calls on my energy. Earlier on, our no link, that's Richard, asked for a structure to analyze, but it's really, I don't think it's that deep. But we will share the things that I mentioned and Vera mentioned that we're planning to talk about the lore, the places, the people, etc.
Yeah, we want to like make sense of the narrative and the setting. We want to make it cohesive as we can, discuss implications, standout moments. The idea is like even if you haven't read the book, it'll be a useful way to get a sense of what the book's impact on the setting is, what you can draw from the book. So it'll be fun.
Yeah.
It'll be a very lore-based, in-depth read rather than talking about like necessarily the English class-esque things, as Lindsay was saying. More emphasis on, hey, what does this mean for my table, my role-playing, my Warhammer?
Exactly. How about the Archeon duology? They are surprisingly good and complex. And with regards to pacing, maybe a series alternating with one-offs every 2 weeks. That way folks have time to go slow on the main meal if they want.
Well, we could do like short stories and things potentially.
Yeah, and also if we can get authors on, if we're doing tier listing, if there's appetite for other things, like we thought about like close reading of passages. That sounds really like schooly, but we were just sort of working like kind of coming up with ideas. If you've got any other ideas, just share them, afterwards or in the chat just now or on the Discord server, and we can, think about them. Oh, interesting. A monthly schedule, 3 weeks for a book and 1 week for interview short story. By the way, when it comes to trilogies or duologies, do you plan on covering them in one episode?
Depends on length, I would say. 1,000 pages of reading in a 1 month span is a little much, maybe for a lot of folks. That's perhaps a bit much of a burden, but we can discuss. I would say duology more likely than trilogy, just off the cuff, but it would depend.
Yeah. And since this is still so new, are you expecting the stream to be the same Hilda 3 hours of Lorebeard?
Yeah, I'd imagine it'll run for at least around 2 hours each time. We'll see how things play out with the first book. There's a lot to discuss in these. We'll be kind of discussing it as a group as well, just getting into the narrative and parts we liked and things. I'm sure it will go into more traditional book clubby things after we talk about the lore implications and whatnot, because it's kind of fun to talk about something you've read.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think today we're probably going to be about an hour or for as long as you've still got questions. People have helpfully told me that tilde equals about or approximate. I knew that. I just like saying the word tilde. I don't know what to tell you. I'm just a dick. Like, just ignore me. Another question. Now that the old world is back, what books would you like to see and which factions do you think deserve some more love?
I quite like the Azrai. I'm very fond of them, so anywhere the Wood Elves go, I'm happy.
I'd like to see more stuff from the perspective of the north of the Empire and the Norse and the interaction between them. and like getting away from the old like battle game idea that like the Empire cuts off and then the Norse are up there and they're just all chaos. Like I want to see more of that, because we know they trade with Marienburg, we know they come around the coast, so I want to see a bit more of the interplay between the cultures. So yeah, that for me it would be like the Norse, maybe Kislev I'd like to see a bit of in this time period as well. With regard to books that won't be covered, yeah, we won't be covering these because they're not fiction. How would Vera feel about the High Elf Guide, or Lindsay feel on the starter set?
I think the only lens we could go through this kind of stuff through is actually that close reading one Lindsay mentioned, like we go through passages and talk about implications, perhaps, that kind of thing, like what this might be extrapolated into, perhaps with some word of God knowledge about what that was meant to mean, and how that is hopefully going to play out at the table. Could do that for some army books, even just doing close reading and picking apart implication and whatnot. But I feel like that would be the only lens we talk about like source books through, but it could be interesting. So
yeah, it could be, because the source books are usually, if you think about the Lorebeard streams on Wifrip subject or Warhammer Fantasy subjects, like that they're drawing from all of those source books, or from Andy's like special brain and Ryan's special brain to remember all that. So yeah, I'm not sure what we would be able to add, so like specifically on an individual book that is just a lore book rather than a fictional book.
That'd have to be like very targeted, but it could work. We need to like pre-select individual passages that are particularly useful for that, and maybe at some point it's like a part of an off stream. Who knows?
Yeah. I'm just having a look to see if there's, since we love elves so much, why not talk about the Sundering trilogy in the future? I would be excited to do that.
I quite like that one.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah, the length also depends on the length of the book. Maybe you could do specials for each of the Lorebeards presenters' birthdays, where they can pick an extra book that might not be Warhammer to read and discuss. That would be good fun.
Oh, that's cute. Perhaps.
Imagine if all our birthdays, though, were like the same month, and we just had to do like birthday stream after birthday stream.
Perfect. That's ideal. The birthday marathon.
Did we introduce ourselves and what you do? I missed the beginning. Yeah, we did do that, Andy. Don't you worry.
I'm Vera. Hi. I make stuff and do things. My goodness, happy early birthday.
Yeah. Do you know what birthday it is on Saturday as well, Vera, for him?
It's a very special birthday?
It's a very special birthday. It's very exciting.
Yay! Well, happy early birthday.
Happy early birthday, Andy. Yeah, I think I'm looking forward to the Sundering, good Malarian content. I always like a good Malarian content.
We love good Malarian content here.
Yeah, we do.
We're all big Malarian fans.
Yeah. I'm getting the vibe that you and I are not necessarily looking forward as much to a dwarf book.
I think there's an elf bias here. It's very possible.
Of elf bias.
We've got a couple of wood elf players here.
Yeah.
I think Gotrek will win us over.
Yeah. I do love. I'm actually being a little bit facetious because I do actually love the Gotrek and Felix series. I love all the dwarves that feature in it, all the slayers. So I would, if that wins, I would really be looking forward to it.
No, it's hard to go wrong here. I think the hope is to mostly put forward selections that are going to be fun to read and discuss too.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I think, is that us? There you have it. That is what book club is going to be. It will be me and Vera and all of you reading books and talking about the lore in them.
Yeah, and this will make a lot more sense, perhaps in format and flow, as we get into the first book proper, which we're going to select today and tomorrow as the poll wraps to a close. So We'll see you guys in a few weeks for the first proper session of book club, which will follow everyone doing their readings. We're all going to read it, right?
Yep, absolutely. So until then, so we will, as I said, the poll is now up. We'll share it on Discord. Please do go to the Discord server to chat in threads about the books or anything else. Give us some suggestions. But until the it is the 14th of December, I believe, and it will be at the same time, this first one, and then we can have a chat about what suits people. We will see you for the first episode of Book Club. Until then, how do Lorebeards say bye? Is there a special Lorebeards goodbye?
We need Lore bye, Lorebeard bye.
Bye.
Keep it real.
Happy reading. Bye.
Enjoy.